Now to our update on the Superior Mayor's Commission on Communities of Color. Its mission is to identify barriers to opportunity and full participation for people of color in Superior. Our first guest tonight is Commission member Deonne Nelson, who started a mentorship program called Unity in the Community. And Deonne, thank you for coming in.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
First, when was the Commission on Communities of Color formed, and what was your mission going into it?
It was formed in 2018, and it was something that I had moved here in 2018, you know, and I wanted to be part of a community that would grow and expand and offer opportunities for racial differences, because I come from the inner city. They pretty much didn't need what I was offering. So when I came here as a guest, or along with my family, you know, I just saw opportunity to try to integrate something new. And Unity in the Community is a program first of its kind. So it's kind of, you know, it's on its way, but it's kind of like taking baby steps right now. But so at the formation of the commission in 2018, I was ready to just get involved. You know, I didn't just sit down. I just went out and started knocking on doors and finding the people and the council members in my community and learning who my district commissioners were, and just started speaking to different ones about it. And when I found Mayor Payne, I went to his office and asked for an invitation, an appointment to visit with him, and all of a sudden I didn't even realize I was talking to him. So I felt weak in my knee.
He does look pretty young.
I know, he was, wasn't he? And he says, well, I would like to talk with you about your ideas. So he's a man that really welcomes ideas. He's a man that welcomes change, and I like that about him. And so coming into his committee, he asked me to write a letter, you know, stating my interest and why I wanted to be on the committee, and I did do that through a letter. Took a little time for him to get back to me, but I was a supporter of all his meetings and his engagements. I visited with him a couple times over at the Yellow Jacket, where he hosts most of his meetings, and his engagements are held at the Yellow Jacket. But when there's also events held with the Women's Black Initiative programs for women in black businesses, he supports that, you know, and they've had a couple of those come up. So the Martin Luther King, he was out there with that and tasting the different kind of ethnic foods that African Americans would prepare and provide, you know, so that was there for the community, the Indigenous Peoples Day program. So pretty much the commission was formed to address and support people's ideas and thoughts, and to bring in something new, because Superior is kind of like a laid-back city, and I'm not laid back, and they know that about me. And so I pretty much just go to the mayor with my thoughts, my ideas, write things up, and present it to him, and then I give him feedback as it begins to grow.
Are there some specific policy changes that the commission is really trying to advance right now?
Well, what we're trying to do right now is build our, well, we have our commissioners, but we're taking on the assistant of a coordinator that's going to collaborate with the mayor and with the different city departments, that's going to come in and kind of like help organize and bring everything together and cultivate and strengthen what his thoughts are. So right now we're working on that, and we have a person in mind. And when we meet on Monday, April 12th, we're pretty much right now searching for somebody to fill that position within the police department or within the city of Superior. Mm-hmm. But I think he's also broadening that to not just be inclusive, but exclusive. So he's looking outward to bring somebody in to support the police department, what he's doing, you know, what Superior, you know, changes are needed, but also like as an employee to support the policies that are now in place and open up opportunities for other programs to be introduced into Superior. But we have a person right now that we're interviewing and looking at, and we're still, I think we're even considering applicants on this, because it's going to be the commissioners that is going to be participating in the interview process, because she's going to be brought in, or he's going to be brought in, under the address and direction of the community of the commissioners in the community of colors community. So she'll be supporting what we're doing, not so much out there like that.
We only have about 1 minute left, but what are some of the concerns or issues that you can see right away that you know you would like to address through the commission?
I would like to address that there be more opportunities for events, for culture. And like if I start an event with my Unity and Community, I just would like a platform to introduce that from. And I would like a lot more African American people to know that we are part of Superior, and I would like Superior to know that we want to be a part of Superior. We don't want to change. We want to be inclusive, not exclusive. So I'm hoping that my program would introduce that to my African American community, the few of us that are residing in the Superior community.
Well, you are a great spokeswoman for the community. Thanks for coming in. We'll have you back again.
I'll look forward to it.
All right. Thank you so much.